morning. This is Pamela with Being the Boss of You, and I'm definitely the boss of me today because I'm in my sweats. And I'm staying in them all day, frankly. It's Sunday. I want to talk about two things that can't even be on the same dance floor together. Shame and vulnerability, or transparency. My coach, Trent Shelton, I joined his inner circle, so he is actually my mentor. And he talks a lot about the power of transparency. But I really believe, and in my own life, unless you've been able to identify and deal with the shame that you have in your life, transparency and vulnerability is going to be a golden fleece that you are going to have a hard time getting to. Brene Brown does wonderful talks on the difference between guilt and shame. And she does TED Talks. Highly recommend watching that. She actually helped me a lot in talking about shame. Now, I'm a public speaker and I talk about domestic violence. And one of the things that I believe why a lot of women stay, and I will include men and in between, anyone who stays in a violent relationship, is shame. Shame should be listed with the CDC as a killer because it just shuts us down. It can take someone with the greatest self-esteem, and over time, it's just chip, 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 and their self-esteem can just get demolished. Vulnerability, on the other hand, is that incredibly soft, wonderful part of you that is still childlike in a fashion, that where you can speak your truth. And in my life, I know that I have shared and been vulnerable with people who are not safe. And what happened was, because they were not safe, they hadn't dealt with their shame. They couldn't deal with the intimacy of vulnerability. And anger is a real easy emotion to access. And so I got back shame, I got back anger, I got back rejection, all the things that we absolutely fear in life. You know, what's the greatest fear? You know, we put ourselves out there and somebody criticizes us. And, you know, I've actually had some snarky comments about, you know, doing these videos about my wrinkles or what I'm wearing, or I just don't even want to talk about it because it's so negative. And, you know, I do understand haters are going to hate. But it makes me sort of sad because really what I think is they're very shame-based people. And, you know, they have to learn. I was probably there at some point as well. So I'm not saying they're bad people or whatever. I just see it for who they are. And to be able to build trust in your relationship, whether it's with a friend, a lover, your husband, wife, partner, whomever, and then to be able to have that vulnerability is a priceless, priceless gift. It is something that is, you know, it's vulnerability, you know, it's even vulnerable to show joy, to have incredible joy. Because what if that joy gets taken away? What if we show our love to someone in our most vulnerable and transparent way, and they turn around and shame us? You know, and Trent also talks about facts over feelings. You know, I can say, wow, you know, to me, shame is also like a subcharge right to your gut. You know, you might not be able to feel it right away, but you sort of walk away and go, man, did I just get slimed? So I want to help you to identify those places in you where you've got shame, because shame will shut any growth down quicker than you can imagine. And that, I'm just sharing my path. This may be something you identify with. This may be something you've already worked on, and it may be something like, what's she talking about? Which is like most people would say to me. And really understanding shame is so powerful, because then you can reach that place of being vulnerable and transparent. Because to me, and I will agree with Brene Brown on there, being vulnerable is incredibly courageous. You've got to be brave to be vulnerable, especially if you want to move into the public arena, like I do. You know, I want to continue my public speaking, and, you know, what's my worst fear? People are going to say, you know, horrible things about me. And I have to know what the fact is, and I have to understand, okay, that's triggering my shame button, and I need to shut that down, or I need to walk away from that person. So we can talk more about this in the upcoming talk. So maybe I'm going to make this a topic for this week, because I think, Brene Brown has studied it for, 30 years, so it's a pretty heavy topic. But I just want to get my toe in to the topic of thinking about how shame has shut you down and stopped your growth. Because it sure did for me for a long time, because the tapes kept playing over and over and over. You're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not cool enough, you're not enough. And so I'm working to actively shut those voices, get rid of the tapes, and like Trent says, burn the bridges of people that are not lifting my life higher. So I'm going to sign off, go make my tea, piddle around in my garden a little bit, and just enjoy my day. And I'm going to think about shame and vulnerability and how they just are not compatible. And to me, I'd much rather be vulnerable than shameful. So think about it. And until we speak again, remember, you are the boss of you all the time. So have a great day. Much love.